Hey everyone, we are the students from University of Sumatera Utara English Literature Program. My name is Frans, and I, with my teammate Nico, Eliana, Lailan, and Annisa, will present our discussion about ambiguity in semantics. In this case, because the presentation is done online, there will be no special question and answer session. Therefore, I hope we can all follow this presentation carefully. The first topic is the types of ambiguity, and it will be explained by Nico. Nico, the time and place is yours.
Thank you, moderator. The first one is types of ambiguity. In writing and speech, there are two forms of ambiguity. The first one is lexical ambiguity. This form of ambiguity is also called monimy or semantic ambiguity. It occurs in a sentence because of the poor vocabulary usage that leads to two or more possible meanings. For example, my sister saw a bat. This example has four different meanings. The first one is the saw as the past tense of see, and the bat as the bird. The second meaning, saw as the past tense of see, and the bat as the wooden baseball bat. The third meaning, saw as cutting, and the bat as the bird. The fourth meaning, saw as cutting, and the bat as the wooden baseball bat. Next slide, please. The second type of ambiguity is syntactic ambiguity. This form of ambiguity is also called structural or grammatical ambiguity. It occurs in the sentence because of the sentence structure leads to two or more possible meanings. For example, I invited the person with the microphone. This example has two different meanings. First meaning, I spoke using the microphone to invite the person. Second meaning, I invited the person who has the microphone. Thank you. Back to moderator.
Thank you for your explanation, Nico. Moving on, the second topic is the concept of semantics ambiguity and will be explained by me. Semantics ambiguity is a word that's semantically ambiguous if it maps to more than one sense or meaning in a particular context. The possibility of interpreting an expression in two or more distinct ways. Semantics ambiguity occurs when a word or concept meaning is inherently uncertain due to widespread or informal usage. That's all I can say. Moving on to the next topic, that's talking about semantics ambiguity in the different situation, and the topic will be explained by Eliana. Eliana, please go ahead.
Thank you. So there are four semantics ambiguity in different situations. The first one is homonyms. It refers to words with same spelling and pronunciation, but different meanings. For example, park. Park can represent as a place or an action to set a vehicle. The second one is homophones. It refers to the words that sound the same but have different meanings. For example, both see and see have the same pronunciations but different meaning. The third one is idioms. It refers to expressions with a figurative meanings that is different from the literal meaning of the word used. For example, hit the hay means go to bed. The fourth is metaphors. Because metaphors rely on comparisons between two different things, they can cause ambiguity in semantics. For example, the word is a stage, which represents that life is like a play. Thank you. Back to moderator.
Thank you for your explanation, Eliana. The fourth topic is talking about the examples of semantics ambiguity in English, and this topic will be explained by Annisa. Annisa, the place and time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for the times given. So now I'm going to give some examples of semantics ambiguity in English. So in the previous section, one of my partners have explained about semantics ambiguity in four different situations. So I'm going to give the examples based on those four. So there will be homonyms, homophones, idioms, and metaphors. First, I'm going to give examples of homonyms. There are two examples here. The first one is, the nail is long and sharp. So for this sentence, the one who gives an ambiguity in a meaning is the word nail. Why? Because the word nail can represent two different things. The first one is human's body part, and the other thing is a sharp object. The second example is the most awaited date is finally come. So for the sentence, the one who gives an ambiguity in the meaning is the word date. So the word date can represent two different things. The first one is the brown edible fruit, palm, and second thing is the time at which an event occurs. So people mostly get confused of homonyms specifically written form because the spelling of the words is exactly the same. It's 100% the same. So for homonyms, you have to know the context first, then you can decide which meaning is implied in a sentence. If you just read the sentence without knowing the context, then you're going to get confused between two different things or maybe more. The second is homophones. So I have two examples also here. The first one is this flower does not have any smell. So for this sentence, both of those words have completely different meaning. So the one is a plant and the other one is food ingredient. But the two words are pronounced in the same way, which usually causes misunderstandings. The second example in homophones is the night will soon arrive. So again, both of those words have completely different meanings. So the first one is a soldier in armor, and the second one is a time when sun is invisible. However, the two words are pronounced in the same way, so night and night, which usually causes misunderstandings. So for homophones, because the words are pronounced similarly, like exactly the same pronunciation, invalid meanings or the misunderstandings of homophones tend to occur more frequently in spoken form. So the difference between homonyms and homophones, homonyms usually happens in a written form, while homophones is usually happened in the spoken form. Next slide, please. So the third situation is idioms. So the first one is break a leg. Break leg. So break leg is a very common idiom that we have heard in our daily life. So break leg is an expression used to wish or hope someone good luck before a performance, a presentation, or maybe an examination. However, when we translate it literally, it will give a meaning of someone who actually breaking someone's leg, which is not making any sense. The second example of idiom is bite the bullet. So bite the bullet is an expression that means to endure a painful or difficult situation. However, if this phrase is translated literally, it will give a meaning of someone who literally eats a bullet. So you can use this phrase when someone of your friend, for example, is under a difficult situation. So you could say she bites the bullet. And the fourth situation is metaphors. So I have two examples also here. The first one is he has a heart of stone. So it has a meaning of someone who does not feel any sympathy for other people, or we could say someone who does not really care or just ignores his surroundings. However, this phrase, when you translate it literally, it could also give another interpretation as someone who has a heart made of stone, which makes no sense. And the last example of this metaphors is her eyes were diamonds. It is implying that her eyes were as beautiful as diamonds. Or you can use this phrase when you want to say that someone you know has a really beautiful eyes. So I think that's all from me. Back to moderator.
Thank you for your explanation, Annisa. Next topic is talking about the examples of semantics ambiguity in Indonesia. And this topic will be explained by Lailan. Lailan, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Now, I will explain about examples of semantics ambiguity in Indonesia. And example for homonyms, first, wanita itu memberitahu kepada teman-temannya. It means pada kata memberitahu akan muncul dua makna, yaitu memberi makanan berupa tahu, yaitu makanan yang terbuat dari kacang kedelai, atau memberi suatu informasi kepada teman-temannya. And the second example is di ruangan besar itu terdapat banyak orang yang sedang rapat. It means pada kata rapat akan muncul dua makna yang berbeda, yaitu rapat yang berarti berdempetan atau rapat yang berarti pertemuan. And example for homophones, the first one is gadis itu sangat suka rock atau rock. Kedua kalimat ini memiliki arti yang berbeda tetapi sama dalam pengucapannya. Di dalam kalimat ini bisa diartikan rok pakaian dari kain yang biasa digunakan oleh perempuan atau musik rock. And the second example is banyak gambar jarum atau the jarum di pintu rumah itu. Kedua kalimat ini memiliki arti yang berbeda tetapi sama dalam pengucapannya. Di dalam kalimat ini bisa diartikan benda tajam atau brand dari sebuah rokok di Indonesia. Next slide. And the example for idioms, keras kepala. It means the example is pria itu tak tahan dengan sifat temannya yang sangat keras kepala. It means sifat di mana seseorang tidak mau menerima nasihat atau saran dari orang lain. And the second example is rendah hati. For the example, anak perempuan itu tetap rendah hati meskipun dia berhasil menjadi juara lomba kemarin. And then it means sifat baik hati dan tidak merasa paling pintar, kaya, ataupun tidak sombong. And last but not least, example for metaphors, mawar desa. For the example, mawar desa itu menjadi idaman banyak orang. It means memiliki arti gadis yang belum menikah atau gadis cantik dan rupawan yang diidam-idamkan atau yang diimpikan banyak orang. And last but not least, for the example metaphors, buah hati. And the example dia memberi banyak hadiah lucu untuk buah hatinya. It means memiliki arti anak yang sangat disayang oleh orang tuanya. Okay, that's all I can explain about examples of semantics ambiguity in Indonesia. Thank you so much, everyone. Back to moderator.
Thank you for your explanation, Lailan, and also to my previous teammate for explaining the topics about semantics ambiguity. All right, to sum it up, the conclusion that can be drawn from ambiguity in semantics is that the language is inherently imprecise and can be subject to multiple interpretation or meanings. Ambiguity can arise from variety of factors, including the use of homonyms, synonyms, idiomatic expression, metaphors, or simply unclear wording. While ambiguity can sometimes lead to confusion or misunderstanding, it can also be a useful tool for creativity and expression. In literature, for example, ambiguity can create a sense of depth and richness to character and situation. In legal or technical writing, however, ambiguity can be a serious problem as it can lead to misinterpretation or even legal disputes. To minimize ambiguity in communication, it is important to be clear and precise in the use of language, to provide context, and to be aware of the potential for misunderstanding. Effective communication requires not only a shared language, but also a shared understanding of the meanings and interpretation of the word being used. Language ambiguity sometimes sounds interesting. However, it could also lead to profound misunderstanding. Ambiguity can occur when a concept's words or meaning is different due to the widespread of informal usage. Just know when it is appropriate to use it, and always let others read your piece in case you don't intend to use it. Hopefully, what we convey is useful for us and to you guys also. Before the presentation ends, we would like to thank you for your attention during the presentation. Hopefully, this material can be useful for all of us. Thank you and goodbye.